We made it, we made it, we made it, we made it. I have been staring at the clock for at least 2.5 hours going, when is it 4:30? When is it 4:30? I am so done with my work day. I hope you are enjoying your 4th of July for USA people. Hello, fabulous Frances Harvey. Lovely to see you. No, we haven't had much of a chance to connect this week. I must admit I missed you considerably. I hope that you're all out enjoying fireworks. I think baseball is a bit of a big deal on the 4th of July, as well as hot dogs. That's what the news tells me. So if you've got fireworks happening, please make sure your puppies are okay. It is Friday here. It has been a wet, wintry, gloomy day, and I have enjoyed being in my own space again. I have enjoyed pottering around in my office and trying to get my week completed. I am extremely tired today. I don't know about you, but I sometimes still think that I'm, superwoman. I think she got retired back when I was 20. So that would be 26 years ago. Hello, Priscilla. But for some reason, I just didn't realize I was going to be so flippin' tired after being out of home for 5 days, away, out of my routine, out of my sense of space, despite the fact that I love it when somebody else cooks my food, cleans up after me, makes my bed. There's still something exhausting about traveling. For those of you who think that interstate travel, particularly interstate travel here in Australia, sounds incredibly glamorous as a part of your job, oh my Lord, it's really not. International travel, if I was traveling first class everywhere, would be awesome. I'm not yet doing that. I don't have the faith for a $20,000 plane ride to LA. Just putting it out there. I would like it. I would actually like the funds to demonstrate that that was okay. I would find it hard to spend that money on a plane fare. Anywho, that is not the point of what I'm talking about today. What I want to talk about today are rituals. So this week I had the pleasure of meeting up with my Accelerate Your Practice crew. These are people who are working with me one-on-one, and every second week, otherwise known as a fortnight, we get together as a group and mastermind what's going on in our lives and our businesses. And it's just such an incredibly powerful, supportive, amazing community. And we're all doing super fabulous things. But it was interesting that this week, the idea of rituals came up. And I think this is really important if you have a workspace in your home. So I know prior to moving here, I had a workspace that was very easy for work to penetrate its way into other parts of the house. So we were often walking past my workspace. We needed to get through the office to get to the laundry and to other parts of the house. And it just felt like work didn't shut off. One of the things that was a must-have for me, I really wanted to be able to work from home, but a must-have for me in moving into our new home has been that there had to be a complete separation between work and home. So I now have a ritual of a morning where I have to use a key to get into the door, which marks the start of my day. I also have a ritual at the end of the day where I have to make sure both doors are locked, and then I close the door and work is done. But it's also really interesting to look at the other rituals that we create for ourselves to help us through our workday. So once I've let myself into the office in the morning, it's important for me to have a clear work desk, and it's important for me to go and put the coffee machine on. Now, sometimes I forget that the coffee machine is on, and it's not until Sophie arrives sometime after me that she makes one for me. But for me, it's about putting that coffee machine on. And I think the fragrance of having the coffee machine on helps me. In the afternoons, leaving work, I want to make sure my desk is clear, that it is ready for me to sit down the next time I'm going to sit at my desk, and then I empty all the rubbish bins. It just helps me to feel like I've cleaned up and I've finished my day. These rituals are so important for us to help our brain switch on and off when it comes to work. It's important for us to have that headspace break, because if you're carrying work into your bedroom, into your lounge room, into the spare bedroom, into your rumpus room, if work follows you wherever you go, it's always in our heads. It's really hard to switch our brains off. But if we don't give ourselves some behavioral cues, it becomes even harder. And then there's just this relentless worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying that goes on. And we're not giving ourselves a chance to take a break. So I've learned that laundry lives in the laundry. Dirty laundry lives in the dirty laundry basket. Kitchen things live in the kitchen. And sometimes people find my standards of cleanliness a little fastidious. Anthony, that would be my son. But he now understands, living on his own, the importance of having those things in those places, because it allows you to think about those things at those times. So I've started thinking today about rituals to help me move into different types of work that I do. So I'm looking, and I'll be exploring over the next couple of weeks, what is the ritual that I have to help me get into the mindset of creative writing. I'm starting a writing sprint challenge on Sunday, thanks to the fabulous Kelly Irving, and I'm going to be creating some content for a program that I've almost finished writing. Hurrah! But I'm looking forward to seeing what is the ritual that just comes naturally for me to help me go, now is the time, brain and energy, to get into writing. And I'm also really curious to know what it is that goes on for me to prepare myself to work with my rehab clients. I'm noticing that is taking a lot more energy these days, because I don't have as high a caseload as I used to have. And a lot of my clients at the moment improving their independence considerably, so much so that I got to my Friday today and realized I had forgotten about one of them, which is not awesome. Nothing's wrong. Nobody's dying. It's awesome that he hasn't needed me, because that tells me that his independence is growing. So next week, I've actually scheduled, because that's a ritual for me, scheduled the time to actually review whether or not my services are needed, because there is nothing better than being able to discharge a client because they have achieved all their goals and they don't need us anymore. Such a weird dynamic having a health business. Really weird dynamic. So I encourage you this weekend to look out for your rituals around your self-care. So Saturdays for me are incredibly important. I need to not work on a Saturday. I tried that 2 weeks ago. It did not go well for me. My nutrition hasn't been great today. I found all the chocolate that I thought that I had sneakily stored. So I'm expecting that my body won't like that very much tomorrow. I also know from the levels of fatigue that I'm experiencing that to engage in anything that feels like work tomorrow is actually going to be detrimental. Sunday, my husband and I have been invited out to a really great Indian restaurant. I'm looking forward to that. And we're just going to hang out and spend some time. But I get to start my writing sprint on Sunday afternoon, and that is the day for planning. Adele, my sister, is saying scheduling is definitely a ritual for me. I am a planner. If it is not in the schedule, it does not get done. Yes, we will leave that right there as well. Carol Schmidt has joined me today. That's lovely to see you, Carol. I miss you. Okay, so moving into the weekend, how are you going to take care of yourself? Please, 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 people in the US, just because you've had a day off this week does not mean that you have to catch up with yourself and work even harder over the next couple of days. Take some time to reprioritize what needs to be done when. Maybe you should learn to schedule it into your calendar like I've done, and allow yourself the opportunity to get work done in a way that's reasonable. There's no need for you to try and do 2 days work in one. That leads nowhere good after a long period of time. Priscilla, oh, my pleasure. I'm glad this has been useful. I know it has been a really useful message for me and reflection on me, and I really appreciate the ladies in my world who helped me have this conversation earlier this week. So I am looking forward to signing off for the day. There is a little bit of tidying up that needs to happen around my desk right now. And I look forward to connecting with you all next week as we move into 5 weeks until I go to Europe. 5 weeks. Things are moving. They're progressing. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you next week. But until then, go be your awesome self.